evening, students. I am Padmini. I welcome you all to this session. So in today's session, we are going to learn a story from your English book Moments. The name of the story is The Beggar, which is written by Untitled Chapter. Okay? So let us go with the introduction. Okay. This is the story of Laska, a beggar. He earns a little by telling lies, thus evoking sympathy in his listeners. One day, he comes across an advocate Sarkar, who does not give him alms, but offers to give him work. So Laska is weak and unwilling to do the laborious job. What is that job? The laborious job of chopping wood. But the job is somehow he has done. After that, he gives up begging. Years later, when Sargai, means the advocate Sargai, comes across Laska, he is no longer a beggar, but he became a respectable notaire. Some people get into bad habits and find it difficult to quit on their own. Compassion, concern and care from fellow humans go a long way in forming such people. There is always a hope for a renewed and better life if one gets kindness, love and concern from others. So my dear class, let us discuss the story. So the beggar. The beggar is the story of the transformation of a beggar into a good person. The behavior of a woman made him leave alcohol and lead a good life. So a man was begging alms. He said that he had not eaten anything for the last 3 days. He did not even have 5 kopecks to pay a room to spend the night at. Okay? He swore by God that he spoke the truth. He had not told the lie. He had been a school teacher in a village for 8 years, but he lost his job. Why? Due to the consistency of his colleagues, means his staff members. For the last 1 year, he was without work, so he had no money to eat something and to lead a happy life. An advocate whose name was Sargai, so looked at the light brown colored coat of the beggar. The beggar had dull, drunken eyes. There were red spots on both of his cheeks. Sargai felt that he had seen this man before. He thought, not felt also. You can say he was sure that he had seen this man before. So the beggar continued. The beggar continued that he had got an offer of a job in the state of Kaluga in Russia. But he did not have enough money to travel to that place. So he wanted help, though he felt ashamed asking for it. But his circumstances, his condition forced him to do so. So Sargai saw the man's shoes. Both of them had varying heel size. He remembered something. Then what he remembered? So let us discuss in the next paragraph. The advocate Sargai, he said that the day before the previous day, he had seen the same beggar at Sadopia Street. Then the beggar had said he was a student who had been removed from the institution, and not that he was a school teacher. He asked the beggar if he remembered it. The beggar was shocked and spoke softly. That was not possible. He said that he was a school teacher and could show his documents as proof also. He denied that he was never a student. He didn't meet that Sargai before the days. And he was saying that he was a school teacher. And he had all the documents as proof to show others. When the advocate Sergei said that he just hand over to him to the police, the beggar confessed that he was lying. He was neither a teacher nor a student. He had been a singer in a Russian group and he was removed due to his drinking problem. He was a drunkard person. He lied. He lied because people would not give him alms if he told them the truth. So again, Sergei screamed at him and said that he could work instead of lying. The beggar said that he knew he should work, but there was no work for him. Then Sergei asked if he would chop wood for him. Sergei asked him if he would chop wood for him. Okay? The Sergei wanted to chop wood, but said that even skilled woodcutters were out of work so who would employ him for it? Immediately Sergei said, Sergei offered him work. The beggar replied that he would chop wood for him. He would chop wood for him. Immediately the advocate Sergei, he said that his willingness to work would be judged soon. He walked off, rubbing his hands, and called the cook from the kitchen. Who is the cook? Her name is Olga. So from here, from this paragraph, we got introduction of another person, that is the cook Olga. Sergei asked Olga to take the man to the wood shed and let him chop the wood. Next, Sergei went to the dining room to look outside the window. He could see the wood shed and the yard. He saw the cook and the beggar also in the yard. They walked to the shed. The cook, Olga, stared at the beggar angrily, pushed him with her elbow and just shut the door. After that, Sergei saw the beggar who had lied that he had been a teacher, sitting on a log of wood. He sat with his cheeks resting on his fists. Olga threw the axe towards him and just scolded him. The beggar pulled the piece of wood towards him, placed it between his feet, and he hit it very weakly because he had no energy to work hard. So hit it weakly with the axe. The wood shook and fell. He pulled it up again, tried to warm up his hands by blowing into them like this, and again tapped the wood with the axe. He was careful not to hit his shoes or cut his finger. Again the wood fell, or you can say the wood fell once again. Now Sergei was not angry at the beggar any longer. He felt very sorry and ashamed of himself to put the poor man at hard work in such a cold winter or cold weather, despite the fact that he was not fit enough to do it. So now Sergei was extremely happy, or we can say extremely glad, that the beggar had done the work. He asked Olga, means the cook, to pay him half a ruble. He added that he could tell him to come on the first day of every month to cut wood. They could give him some work, some more work. So after that, the beggar turned up the first of the month and got half a ruble, although he was heavily drunk and could not even stand on his feet. Okay? He went there for work. He often went there to get some work. So he would do the various jobs like shoveling the snow, set the wood in the shed, okay, beat the rocks to remove the dust and earn 20 to 40 kopecks for it. Once Sargai, the kind person, the humble person who shows the humility, he gave him a pair of trousers also. Now Sargai, the advocate, he was very happy, or you can say extremely happy, to see the change in the beggar due to his scoldings. He gave him a ruble for his labor and asked his name, as he had left drinking and was willing to work also. The beggar replied that his name was Laska. His name was Laska. So Sargai wanted to offer him better work and asked if he could write. Laska replied, yes, I could write too. So after 2 years, one evening, Sargai was standing at the ticket window of a theatre. He was buying a ticket to see the film. He saw Laska standing next to him. He was well dressed, wore a coat. The collar was made of fur and wore a cap also. And the cape which was made of seal skin. He was shy as he asked for a ticket of the gallery seat and paid for it in coins made of copper. So Sargai immediately recognized Laska and met him. He asked how he was, what he was doing, and how everything was going. So here Sargai showed his happiness. Immediately he recognized the person who had reformed that person. So after that, Laska replied that he was fine and he was working as a notary and he got paid 35 rubles a month. Imagine, my dear students, 35 rubles a month. So Sargai was really extremely glad, extremely happy, and he thanked God for reforming the beggar. He said that he considered Laska to be his godson because it was due to his scolding. It was due to his scolding that the beggar became a changed man. The day the beggar had been at his feet asking for mercy, he was glad that Laska did not forget his words. Yes? Next, Laska thanked him and said that if he had not met Sargai that day, he would still be lying and begging like a beggar, a street beggar. He came out of the pit. With the help of Sargai and was glad for his help. He thanked Sargai for his kindness. He was grateful to the cook also. She was a noble woman. Although Sargai had been kind to him, but it was Olga who saved him and reformed him. He asked Sargai how he felt about the truth. Okay? So Laska continued that When he would visit the place to chop wood, Olga would scold him. She would feel sad for him and wept. Means she was crying by seeing the condition of this Laskav. She felt very sad for him and at the same time would chop all the wood for him. Her behavior only changed him. Just then the bell rang and Laskav bowed to Sergei and left for the gallery of the theatre. Okay. So next, the theme of the story. So what is the theme of the story? Very often we find that lazy person who is not ready to work take to begging so as to make an easy life. But this should not be condoned, children. Every person should try to earn his livelihood. Every person should work to earn his bread. Here we find Sergei giving an opportunity to Laskav to work. Laskav, because of Olga's help and concern for him, makes use of it and quits begging, and at the same time starts leading a decent life. So this story, The Beggar, is about a reformation of a beggar whose name is Laskav, who is helped by two different people in two different ways. The beggar is poor because he does not have any money, and also because he does not have any integrity of character. So he requires alms to feed himself and also genuine help to feed his improvised soul. So a prosperous advocate, Sergei, and his noble cook, Olga, both help the beggar. And after that, Laskav, the beggar, he came out of the miserable life and lived respectably as an ordinary. Okay? So Laskav is a beggar who is harmless and spends his life on the streets only by begging. His habit is to tell lies and beg from the people. He asks alms from Sergei, an advocate, who admonishes him but also helps him out. Since the story revolves around the beggar Laskav, we can see the title is justified here. So my dear students, we have read this story which is written by Untitled Chapter. So what type of messages you are getting from here? So if you talk about the story, we are getting two messages in the story. One, when people are under suffering, they should be given a helping hand to come up in life. So Sergei and Olga, both were the kind people who helped Laskav to quit begging and earn his living. And the second message is that people should feel ashamed of begging. So everyone of this world should try to work and earn his livelihood. If you are ready to work, you will always get some job or the other. So if there is a will, there is a way. If there is a will, there is a way. So one should live a life of honor, not by begging. Another message we can get here. Okay, what is that? Another message in this lesson. This is the attitude shown by the cook Olga, the maid, the cook, who shows affection to Laskav and helps him to quit drinking and lead a better life. So in every mode of life, children, in every step of life, we need love, affection, concern from others. Okay? So I hope, my dear class, you have understood this.